that. And it's showtime, people. It's showtime. It's showtime. Just gonna start us off with some music. If you tapping in tonight, I need you to go ahead. First off, I need you to smash that like button. I need you to hit like, subscribe to the channel. I need you to like, subscribe. I need you to share this live stream so we can fight the power. I need y'all to share this live stream. Come on in, come on in. Sipping.
Call me rolling or Spalding. While you ride the
sipping, and we going in tonight.
I'm posted in the paint, getting buckets, scoring. Another
come on in, smash like. We just getting set up. We ready to go.
I used to be a have-not. I sowed seed, watered my plants, and reaped the cash crop. I'm so good, you never catch me in the bad spot. Pull up in a lemon 6-4 and make
good, Sean Wade. Thanks for tapping in. Thanks for tapping in. We live.
And all I ever wanna do is hit the mall. Pull up in a U-Haul truck and buy it all. I be finger rolling dough, watch my paper flow.
The boy in the background.
Up them bricks, I watch your paper choke. My big roll make it hot, watch my paper smoke. Boy, your money funny, I watch your paper choke.
It's all my life, we need the love. That's all that all I ever wanted to do.
So yeah, we gonna bring Vlad to the front of the congregation tonight.
That's all that all I ever wanted to do. It's all my life, we need the love. That's all that
D Mac Kelvin, what's poppin'?
Living my life off the wall. All I ever wanted to do is ball.
I need you to rock with me. I'm throwing alley-oops with the dough. It's Lob City. Little mama shaking the
y'all rocking out with me on this Friday night.
Give your boy a quickie, and I might drop a 50. Then I'm back on my Chrissy, cause I ain't made a meal
you in the
yet.
house, you in the safest place to be.
They ain't kept it real yet. About to change the game, and I ain't signed the deal yet. Stomach touching my back like I ain't ate a meal yet. So y'all can keep stalling, I'ma keep balling. Just like the rain, watch the money keep falling. Groupies knocking on the door, I let them all in. Party don't stop till
just doing some housekeeping while
my money's real loud.
We get a few more people in the room while we wait. Please share this live.
You can watch my paper breathe.
Tapping in from B-Mall.
I watch your paper leave.
It's all my life, we need the love. That's all.
Cheers, my brother.
It's all my life, we need the love. That's all that all I ever wanted to do.
The safest streets in America, the YouTube streets.
That's all that all I ever wanted to do is
share this bad boy.
Living my life off the wall. All I ever wanted to do is ball.
Shout out to Barriota Artists, singing the hook on that track right there. Shout out to my man Poppy Hay, 2 Grand Productions, engineer extraordinaire. Cheers, my brothers. Cheers, my brothers. What y'all sipping on? I see Sean Wade sipping on a glass of brown. A good glass of brown is always in order. Good glass of brown is always in order. Put a little grease on the wheels, you feel me?
First thing I'ma do is buy the
been waiting all day for this.
Put up a billboard so everybody knows who we are. Sounds good. See me shooting through the sky like a star. Whip so sick now chicks wanna fuck my car. They know I'm seeing De Niro. I see stars in their eyes and they looking for a hero. No, but I can't put the cape on and I don't need a cape, so we gon' keep the tape going. A groupie might want to do me to sue me cause I'm Ocean's 13. Money like Clooney.
So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get it started.
Louis like trying to watch Family Guy with no Stewie.
Because we want to put
no Chewy. I catch a slick brick with no
jewelry.
My date with destiny is all that matters. Gotta go. I'm late. Mad. I'ma be chillin' at the top. I see you when you get there. A lot of y'all are trying. I'm wondering, is it fair? Cause it's a rocky road to success. I'ma be
got some good clips lined up.
See you when you get there. A lot of y'all are trying.
Commentary to go along with it.
Cause it's a rocky road to success. I'm on the road to the riches. You can call me Cool G. Blowing on that ooh wee. Head to toe Cool G. Everything is Gucci. Lobster and sushi. Bottles, models, paparazzi, groupies. We be all up in the pod just like two peas. Got twin pines, so I'm rolling 2 trees. I'm on a double date, call it 2 G's. Got the NFL money, Drew Brees. Police escort, straight to the airport. I'm about to get another stamp on my passport. I'm on a mile high, up by the mile high, in the mile high club. Yup, I'm a wild guy. I watch her climb high and do a pole drop. Mama's 1 in a million, she make my boat rock. Come on in and make sure the door's locked. I love getting to the money and it don't stop. Chillin' at the top, I see you when you get there. A lot of y'all are trying, I'm wondering, is it fair? Cause it's a rocky road to success.
Yeah, we gotta touch on Vlad tonight because Vlad is messy. And Vlad is too old in my opinion. He's been around the game too long to carry on in the way that he carries on. You know. He gotta be different. You know, dare to be different. That's the theme. Shout to my man
A different me, the same
Bro
you.
on the track right here
Stay
with
the
me.
same things will change. Hate me, nigga, hate the game.
This time is-
He's a man that's trying to change.
Pardon me, I'm jamming, y'all. I'm
A different
sorry.
me, the same you. Things will stay the same, things will change. Hate me, nigga, hate the game. He's a man
It's
that's trying
sounding
to
good
change.
right now. It's sounding good.
Oh,
I'm
so-called
sorry,
friends,
guys.
I don't need you. Some love me, some hate me, so I'm even. Hate all you want is fuck a bitch, I'm breathing. Better days not far away, I believe it. Looking in the mirror, staring at the man in it. Black shades tinted. A new vision, staring at the world from a different angle. Positive attitude, but I'm still gangster. Grown man shit. I hope you catch the hint. Selling drugs don't make you a man, but it can make you rich. So when your guts wear in your heart, but you're only your
B-More,
bitch.
home of
Take
the
time to
Wire.
think, damn,
Feel
since
like I
making
know
sense.
B-More.
I'ma build a fence to keep old niggas
Just from
around
watching
me.
The Wire.
OGs taught me to walk softly. Keep your eyes open, young nigga, be cautious. Don't trust these slimy hoes,
Very
brush the dirt
interesting
up off
sound,
you.
B-More.
I brush the dirt up off me. And kept walking. I keep my business to myself because the streets talking. I'm on my P's and Q's while you niggas sleepwalking. Keep sleepwalking. Black coffee.
Streets ain't just talking, niggas is whispering
So
with
close
beat
to
like
the
a
state
fisherman.
capital, so
Fans
close to
steady
the-
listening, they reeling in my niggas, get them trapped,
Shout out
got
with
they
the cap.
feeling them. Fit the profile of your skin's tinted with melanin. My men's have been telling them, niggas ain't listening. Take the pot you pissing in. Niggas get the missing when they cuffing up your wristing in. Ship you off to prison in a hole like a pigeon in. Ain't nobody visiting, living like some midgets in. Many men are feminine, switching like some women in. Fuck if I'm offending them. No time to be PC, the game's getting greasy. Cause every time I look, they endangering my species. Man, I'm fighting like Creasy. Problem for the opposition. I master the art, I'm stomping out the competition. My name ain't Joe, but I got a proposition. If you game to go, no way that they can stop the mission.
A different me, the same you. Things don't stay the same, things will change. Don't hate me, nigga, hate the game. The key to a man is trying to change. A different me, the same you. Things don't stay the same, things will change. Don't hate me, nigga, hate the game. The key to a man.
right. So we're gonna go ahead and get it popping, guys. We're gonna go ahead and get it popping right about now. Thanks to everybody who's tuning into the channel. It's your man Online Bill Money. And again, as you see in the title, we want to go ahead and throw Vlad up under the microscope, see what we find. Many of you guys are probably familiar, with Vlad. It's kind of hot, cold right now. Either you riding with him or you riding against him. I'm riding against him. Been watching Vlad for a very long time. At one time, I would regularly tune in. I was a subscriber, to DJ Vlad's channel. He would always have some of the best guests and some very insightful interviews. Now, I want to tip my hat to Vlad. I'm not here to attack Vlad personally because I don't know the man. What I'm here to do, hopefully, is to critique his work. It is to offer a thoughtful analysis to Vlad's business practices, how he conducts himself as a so-called self-prescribed or self-subscribed or self-proclaimed, a self-proclaimed journalist. And we're definitely going to bring that into question tonight. Just take a look at my notes. So I just want to start out because we know Vlad has a lot of regular guests from the culture, a lot of big names, B-list, some A-list, perhaps, depends on, in Black celebrity culture, A-list, B-list is a very fine line. Guys like John Sally, Michael Jai White, D.L. Hughley especially. D.L. Hughley is one of his favorites. But he likes to bring these people on, in my opinion, to mirror his own view, to co-sign his opinions about Black culture, especially opinions that might not be, popular with those of us who like to think for ourselves. Vlad is going to toe the woke line, the popular line. Vlad doesn't want to ruffle any feathers, I guess what you want to call polite society. So he brings these regular guests on: John Sally, Michael Jai White, D.L. Hughley. John Sally sometimes pushes back. Sometimes you could see them bristling, themselves at some of his opinions. But, I think Vlad is paying well, and his regular guests, he has stated that he pays them to make regular appearances on the show. And I guess it's based upon what they negotiate. So, who's going to turn down the check if all they got to do is come up there and listen to a chatty patty gossip session, in my opinion. So he brings them on, much like Stephen A. Smith likes to bring on, like ESPN brings Stephen A. Smith on to talk greasy about Black athletes. The white commentators pretty much knowing that if they offer unpopular critiques or harsh critiques, many times it'll be perceived as racism, or it may be perceived as biased. So you get a brother, so to speak, you get a Stephen A. Smith to come on and say all the things that you want to say, and even to, sensationalize it in a way. We know how Stephen A. Smith likes to bring the news, but that's his detail, to say the things that his white bosses can't say, or his counterparts cannot say themselves. So this is a tactic that Vlad uses. And I want to play a clip really quickly. Because there was a situation in which Vlad offered up some information about Carmelo Anthony hitting him on his DM because Vlad was, picked up the story, I guess, about Carmelo's alleged baby mom, which was an outside relationship outside of his marriage to Lala. I guess DJ Vlad had commented on it on his website, so forth and so on. And Carmelo hopped in his DM and he said Carmelo was angry and that Carmelo told him to stop, speaking about him and his personal business. So he wants to tell the story like he pushed back against against Carmelo. Talking tough in an interview with John Sally. I'm going to go ahead and get this clip up for you guys. And this is fair use. I don't want to get jammed up. But John Sally, again, is a regular guest. Can I take the mute off?
Some twins. Yeah. That was probably the draw. Open and there's embarrassment and everything else like that. That's when you usually see the divorce filings and stuff.
I 100% agree with that. Yeah. If it's kept within the family and only a certain amount of people know of it,
right?
What happens in the dark will come out in the light, though. Or it is, and that this person felt like the girl, a whole bunch of that's a scary thing.
And basically, what these amount to, he says he brings these guys on to talk about current events. And they, they talk maybe a little bit about politics, but a lot of the content, a lot of the conversation is gossip. It's gossipy. It's opinions. It's sensational headlines. And it's always about Black people. Vlad never talks about the shit that white people do. And we're going to get into that as well. Vlad doesn't really speak on white issues. Well, he may speak on or against, Donald Trump. Vlad again is going to toe the liberal line, the liberal agenda. That's his bag. That's the bag he's in, at least publicly. But I want to get to this comment where he's talking tough.
Carrying your seed inside you, you have this image in your life, what you want, all that. But a lot, right?
Pretty much,
yeah. And so
I think my job is easy.
No.
Until they actually sit in my seat and have to talk babies, popped up, some twins. I guess he already had a side baby at one point. And this is,
here we go.
Some two more side babies popped up, some twins.
Yeah.
That was probably
the twin makers.
The twin makers. I guess this is the final straw. I feel with most women, especially women who, but as long as it doesn't spill into the media and there's a level where it's all out in the open.
I 100%. If it's but if
reinvent herself from going from being on a lot of shows.
She was a DJ here. It's gonna bounce back, and I always say this: that it's going to affect so many different things around them.
Well, hold on.
But it is what it is. So maybe it's better for them.
Maybe it's. I know he started the conversation with John Sally. But maybe I saved the wrong video. But I know he definitely also brings it up. And this is another thing that Vlad does. Certain agendas he's trying to push, or certain themes or narratives he wants to spin, he'll bring these same stories or narratives up from guest to guest. They're not asking him about these issues. They're not involved. A lot of times people like Michael J. White will tell him, look, man, I don't know anything about this. And he'll continue, just to get his narrative on the record.
Them or the text messages.
So here he is talking to Michael J. White. This is my reaction to Vlad telling Michael J. White how Carmelo Anthony hopped in his DMs and angrily asked him to stop speaking about his family and how he responded.
And she had posted up the DMs of them, or the text messages of her basically asking for some financial support and him trying to give her cash instead of Cash App or whatever else. This got posted up, and she already filed for divorce. What's interesting is that Carmelo Anthony sent me a very angry DM.
Did he?
After, I think it was after the John Sally interview, because that probably hit it a little close to home because, it's a basketball player.
Yeah, I don't know a thing about it, though.
Yeah.
And that's Michael Jai White trying to very subtly say, bro, I don't really want to talk about that man's personal business. I don't know anything about it, and I really don't wish to know anything about it. But, since you're paying me, I'll play along.
Yeah, it was very interesting to me that and I'm not going to say I didn't repost it or screen capture or whatever.
What happened?
I mean, you could say it was a lightweight. I would say it's a threat. I think it's just tough talk, over DM, which I found kind of funny. Actually, it was okay, what's Carmelo Anthony gonna do? What I mean? We're not gonna run into each other. And if we did, I'm gonna have security with me. Who the fuck cares what Carmelo has to think? What I mean? But it's interesting to me how people get mad at other people over their own bad decisions. What I mean? We're not going to run into each other. It's tough talk,
and this is what he does. Listen,
which I found kind of funny, actually.
And he finds it funny because it happened on social media. If Carmelo Anthony ran up on DJ Vlad, I'm sure he'd feel a whole lot differently. Carmelo's about 6'8", probably about 240 pounds. You're going to feel a whole lot differently if that man is standing, in your presence. But listen to how he deflects. I'm going to have my security anyway.
It's okay, what's Carmelo Anthony going to do? What I mean? We're not going to run into each other. And if we did, I'm going to have security with me. Who the fuck cares what Carmelo has to think? what I mean?
And there he is. Who cares? And this is, as a journalist, this is not the attitude you want to display if what you're actually out here presenting is true journalism. You don't want to report a story about a person, have that person reach out to you, understandably angry, especially if it's some dirt, some smut, some low-hanging fruit type of, headline, and expect that man to be happy. But then for that man to reach out to you, and then for you to come on social media, laugh about it, act like you have no worries because you walk around with security. It's not a good attitude to have because anybody can be touched, when you least expect it. And he got Michael Jai White just up here, just a cheesing.
It's interesting to me how people get mad at other people over their own bad decisions. Right?
Yeah.
Like you're mad.
It's like you get mad when people call you police about the police questions that you like to ask. But I digress.
Over this, you've been a public figure for what, 30 years now?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, he was a star, like, I'm sure in junior high already.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, like, dude, like, athletes have been coddled and
this is Michael Jai White pretty much trying to mediate the situation or offer Vlad a little understanding into the perspective of somebody like Carmelo Anthony, somebody who's been groomed to be, you know, a superstar athlete from an adolescent and who was used to being handled a certain way. Now, not to say that, you know, because he was groomed and taught to, you know, behave a certain way, that you have to cater, you know, to that aspect or cater to that dynamic. But he's just saying, hey, you know, we don't want to go too hard on this man because we're all, you know, men of flesh and blood at the end of the day. You know, he did something that a lot of men have done. A lot of men have went outside their relationships, their marriages, and have outside kids. A lot of men, you know, have done this. And that doesn't make a man a bad man. That doesn't make a man a bad person. So for Vlad, who doesn't have any kids, you know, to speak on a man who has kids, who has a marriage, who has made mistakes, and because of his status as a superstar athlete, a lot of these mistakes have been amplified in the public eye. It's not always an opportunity to, you know, to hit on a guy, to knock a man down. These things occur in personal relationships, and outside of his personal relationship foibles, you know, Carmelo Anthony has been an upstanding member of the community, productive. You know, I'm not aware of any criminal tendencies, any criminal backgrounds, any arrests, DUIs, possessions. You know, only thing I know about Carmelo is he will fight you. You know what I'm saying? He trains in boxing and he put them hands on you. You feel me? You know, at one point in time, you know, he would pop off. So I don't know if, you know, at this day and time, if he's of that mindset. But, you know, that's the only thing I know about Carmelo. You know, never been in any trouble. So to figure that's the guy you want to try to pick on, you know, I think there's more worthy candidates, you know, out here who, yeah. But again, the low-hanging fruit, you know, Vlad, he doesn't want to talk about anything good. And another thing I want to bring up, you know, about Vlad, and I don't know if a lot of people might know this, if you know this, if you thought about it or not. And this is regards to YouTube, but you know, offering, you know, any sort of critical analysis or YouTube's business practices, I'm sure is risky business. But I wonder if anybody realizes that, you know, anybody familiar with Lyor Cohen, former Def Jam guy. Lyor Cohen is actually the head of global music at YouTube. This is his title right now. I'll get back to another clip in a minute. But Lyor Cohen, I just want to touch on this really quickly. Lyor Cohen is the head of global music at YouTube, former Def Jam guy, 300 Music, Kevin Lyle's partner. We all know Lyor Cohen. He's been around the game for a very long time. An Israeli Jew who immigrated here to the United States. And now, you know, after conquering the music business, you know, had his hand in breaking and presenting to some of the greatest, you know, hip hop artists that we've, you know, known, you know. Again, at Def Jam, he was behind, you know, he did a lot of good and he also did a lot of bad, you know what I mean? But he brought us guys like Jay-Z, DMX, Nori, a lot of huge acts that still are very visible to this day. But he also has worked behind the scenes in many people's opinions to sow seeds of dissension regarding the business of a lot of our prominent artists, you know. And I'm sure you guys are all familiar with the Dame Dash, Jay-Z, Rockefeller debacle, in which it was ultimately decided or confirmed or alleged that, you know, Lyor Cohen was the common denominator between Jay-Z and Dame Dash, spitting in Jay-Z's ear, you know, for him to break off on his own and to do his own thing. Judge that what you know, judge that how you might. Not illegal, but definitely, you know, a shady business practice. But these are the things that capitalists do. And, you know, Jay-Z recent comments about, you know, shying away from the capitalist moniker, to me was a bunch of bullshit. You know, Jay-Z probably learned better than most how to operate in this capitalist system, as he is currently listed as a billionaire. So, you know, stop the cap, Jay-Z. But Lyor Cohen, an Israeli Jew, now the head of global music at YouTube. I'm wondering what's the connection, if there's any connection between Lyor and Vlad. You know, Vlad is a Ukrainian Jew, Ashkenazi Jew. And although Vlad claims to be an atheist, he does pretty much toe the line when it comes to anyone speaking ill on Judaism. So, you're atheist, like, what's the deal? You want to, to me, Vlad wants to ride the fence on all situations. You know what I'm saying? He wants to be a guest in black culture, but he doesn't want to abide by the rules that black culture has put in place, particularly as it relates to hip hop. Hip hop, again, being a subculture. So the rules of the dominant culture are not going to apply down here. We kind of make our own rules. Some shit might rock the same, but a lot of shit's going to be different. And anytime that you're a guest in somebody's house, anytime you're a guest in somebody's culture, even in the military, before you deploy to certain countries with certain strict customs that if you violate might get you in some legal trouble or some, some issues where you might have to pay a social penalty. You might get caned in certain countries if you break certain cultural customs. They'll train you before you go. Look, in these situations, this is what you do. This is what you say. If you say anything other than this, or if you come looking, saying anything outside of these boundaries, you might expect to receive a harsh penalty. So these things are understood. And Vlad says he's been around the culture since a young guy. So the rules, brother. And whether you understand or like them or have any appreciation for them, there's a lot of rules that I don't like. But when I'm moving in the culture, I have to abide by them or suffer the consequences. So if you want to be in the culture, if you want to be a guest of the culture, you got to abide by the rules, baby boy. And that's just, that's free game. And you can't get mad if people start to characterize you in a way that you don't appreciate. It's because you're moving, in ways that the culture is not accustomed to. So if you come in, man, and we walk in a certain way, man, you better learn how to walk that way. So I'm just wondering, what kind of benefits does he reap? Vlad's been a fixture at YouTube for quite a while, pretty much since its inception. He said he hopped in pretty much knowing where it was going. He probably had some connections behind the scenes, and they probably say, hey, man, you want to come on in and get on in and get your foundation set in stone, because this thing's about to take off, and that's what it's done. But I'm wondering if he has any behind the scenes benefit, especially with a guy like Leo Cohen coming from the music over to YouTube. Now he's the head of global music. Vlad is a DJ. That's his lane, hip hop culture, entertainment. What kind of algorithm love is he getting? These are things that we have to think about. So let's see. So Vlad, as you know, over the past year or so, he's fallen out with several of his past guests. Even before then, people would come on to the show. He had a fallout with Monique over how the content would be adjudicated once it was in the can, whether Monique would have access to it or not. And there was a dust up about that. Bad blood. Dr. Umar Johnson went on, did an interview. After the interview was over, he expressed his displeasure at some of the ways that Vlad captioned the segments that he published on YouTube. So it's not new, but the most explosive dust up happened about a year ago when he fell out with some of his most potent and popular regulars, being Lord Jamar of Brand Nubian. Shout out to Lord Jamar with the United Mean God cast, and comedian Godfrey. And shout out to Godfrey with his podcast as well. The name it slips me at the moment, but check out both of their podcasts and subscribe. But they fell out with Vlad when Vlad again had D.L. Hughley on the show. And he took this opportunity to express his displeasure at something that Minister Louis Farrakhan has said. I believe it was maybe his July 4th of July speech or something. Like I said, it was about a year ago. And he gave a speech Vlad hopped on with DL to complain to DL about a line from the speech in which Farrakhan said something, and I probably have it. I got a bunch of clips lined up. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about it. Because I'm doing a lot of damn talking. My mouth is dry. So I got a clip from You're Not a Mean, actually from Lord Jamar. My joint moving slow. Okay. So yeah, this is going to be the situation. And again, I'm going to let Lord Jamar break it down. Let me share my screen. And again, this is fair use. Don't strike me down. Don't strike me down. YouTube time. So yeah, just for a little background, in case I miss anything, we're going to let Lord Jamar break it down, and I'm going to give my reaction because that's what we doing here.
I don't know if it was a week or so ago. There was a big thing on the internet where Vlad did an interview with D.L. Hughley, and basically he misquoted the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He heard a portion of a speech that he gave where he used an analogy of using a rock of truth, not a physical rock, but a rock of truth to bash one over the head with.
Elijah Moore made me laugh. A rock of truth. Let me stop. But go ahead.
Vlad heard the part just about the rock, took it to heart because it was being talked about, Jewish people, and, had a conversation with DL that looked very misleading to those that saw the whole clip. Once it was brought to his attention that there was more to the clip, and I believe I may have been the one to bring it to his attention.
And again, and just to break this up, it seemed like with this situation, I guess maybe because it was Louis Farrakhan and his tumultuous history with the Jewish community, and I think that Vlad just figured for the culture, being that the culture, the Jewish culture, that he figured he was going to go ahead and take a stand. This was the rock, the hill that he decided to, die on. So, because Lord Jamar clearly went behind the scenes and tried to educate him. And, Vlad being stiff-necked, insolent, and a huge hypocrite, decided to continue to push the line. Let's go.
I recommended that, something had to be remedied. So within 24 hours, Vlad edited out his comments in the clip where he accused the minister, and he also changed the title of the clip. But he didn't give a formal apology, which I advised him he should give.
Again, you got a black friend. You got a black friend who's willing to stand by your side, to come to you behind the scenes, to pull your coattails, to put you on, and give you some free game and say, hey, Vlad, you're fucking up right now. But you have a chance to fix this shit, and I suggest you avail yourself of the opportunity. But again, Vlad being stiff-necked, insolent, and a hypocrite, decided that this was going to be the hill that he would die on. Lord Jamar tried to, I can't.
Subsequently, he did that.
Shout out to you, Yamaz. Thanks for tapping in.
People still weren't happy as I thought they wouldn't be. I made another attempt. Vlad. Sure, like this is.
And even the Bible tells you, and I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember. I believe it's a proverb 22, maybe 22:8, something like that, where it says, if your brother does something to you that makes you angry, bring it to that brother. And if you guys can come to an agreement or some understanding about it, then you have gained a brother. You have gained a friend. And to me, in this situation, it looked like Vlad was ready to break it off.
This is not looking good for you right now, bro. You know what I mean?
And again, because even if you look at some of the clips with Lord Jamar would consistently challenge Vlad about a lot of his views, about a lot of his comments. He would question Vlad to the point to where he basically asked Vlad, what makes you think you have the right to comment on black culture? Because if I, as a black man, start to come in and make commentary on the culture of the Jews and what they should do, what they shouldn't do, how they behave, how they act, and begin to characterize them based on stereotypes and the like, Vlad's going to clearly, he's going to get his pennies in a bunch.
Something that you don't understand who the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, what he represents to a lot of people in the black community. Okay, and to seem like you're disrespecting that is not cool. And especially an elder. For some people, thank you, Vlad. For some people, the minister is like our modern day Malcolm X, our modern day, Martin Luther King, to that degree. So, you really want to look like you're disrespecting people of that caliber. I really think you should swallow your ego and apologize. He did agree with me. Felt like, whatever he does would probably not be good enough in certain people's eyes. Feels like what he did, felt like that was his correction, and that was his way of remedying it. Said, all right. Thank you, KWV. I appreciate you. Yes, I will be putting stuff on Patreon, but Patreon. So I let him know. I said, okay, I'm gonna let the people know, though. I told you to apologize, and I, keep it real, like, you know what I mean. He said he understood. So, let the record reflect that although all of y'all that felt like he should have apologized to the minister, I agree. Should have apologized. And I did what I could to strive to remedy the situation. Yes.
And I have some more. There's actually some more footage with Lord Jamar getting into that with Nori. This was on the Clubhouse discussion. And again, shout out to everybody that's tuned in right now. Thanks for tapping into the channel. We got about 8 people in the chat right now. I see you. Thanks for everybody who's commenting. Yamez, D-Mac, Calvin, Sean Wade, again, tapping in from B-More. I appreciate you guys for riding with me on this Friday night on this issue that, to me, is an important issue because it just speaks to a larger point, in my opinion, of how we need to moving forward as far as protecting our culture, defending our lineage, making sure that we're not erased in any shape, form, or fashion, and that we struggle against the powers that be efforts to shape us into a permanent bottom caste. It's a much larger point when I speak about these things, or it might just seem like entertainment to some people, but it's levels to this. These things go deep, and it's the intentions that we got to question. We don't question people's intentions. We think that everybody comes in with a smile and a bottle of hot sauce is our friend. That shit's got to stop. If somebody comes in my face with a smile and a bottle of hot sauce, I'm going to show them the motherfucking door. Stop pandering to me. I'm not going to show up to my Asian friend's house with some chopsticks. I'm going to trust that they already have some chopsticks. It's like if you come to a black person's house, you better believe they got some hot sauce. So we have to stop the pandering.
Well, see, everybody
I'm going to step off camera just briefly.
feel like the Farrakhan thing definitely was a catalyst, but the final straw was really seeing how he didn't give a fuck about nobody but himself. Like, he didn't give a fuck about the people that did have love for him, like you, me, Godfrey, all these other motherfuckers that stood up for him.
And I like this conversation because in the previous video, Lord Jamar just pretty much told his audience on his platform what was going on. But in this conversation, this is a Clubhouse conversation where he's actually speaking with some of his peers in the industry, and they're pretty much riding with him, because he's pissed off a lot of people with that one incident in itself. Who went off on him besides Lord Jamar and Godfrey? Royce the 5'9" chimed in. West Coast rapper NOI member Cam chimed in. RZA Islam spoke out. A lot of people were upset with Vlad in that moment.
Other times when he did some quasi bullshit, and we was like, nah, this motherfucker, he aight though, da 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 da. But then it's like, motherfucker gonna sit there and be like, yo, I've had the best month that Vlad TV has ever had, like during this whole situation, he tried to say. You know what I mean?
And that was like a shot at.
Like meaning he was still getting views, so he didn't care that his
He
name was
didn't
being
care
dragged.
what, and what was funny is I hadn't been on his shit that month. You know what I mean? So that was like a shot at. He was trying to tell me something too, like nigga, I don't need you neither. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, motherfucker, we gonna show you that black people is the one that fucking put you in this position, and will fucking take you out of this fucking shit. You know what I mean? I know for a fact I brought mad niggas to your fucking channel, and you know, and so now I'm not fucking with you, and so let's see what happens. You know what I mean? Like,
And he
let's
never
see what
like
happens.
called you, because I feel like you had a little bit closer relationship. Like he never called you to see your stance or your take on anything.
First of all, we called him and told him we was gonna do this ahead of time, like men.
who
Niggas ain't
when you
just
say we, who you mean?
me and Godfrey. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I had
Okay.
the nigga Godfrey on the line, and you know what I mean? We hit him up like, yo, bro, time's up. Like it ain't no whether you're gonna decide to apologize to the minister. Either you apologize to him or we not fucking with you. You know what I mean?
And what was his response? What was his response?
Well, Jamar, I'm not. Not gonna be bullied into an apology and all of this type of shit. Like, listen, bro. You know what I mean? I don't know how you want to take it. Like, you know what I mean? Like you could say I'm bullying you, whatever the fuck. I'm just telling you that this is now Cypher. Like, you know what I mean? You got everybody looking good. I mean, looking bad right now. To the point where niggas can't fuck with you. You know what I mean? Like, we'll be going against our own people to be fucking with you. Who does that? You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I'm not apologizing. He said things, the minister said things about Jews in the past. Nigga, you told me you wasn't a Jew. Why that you don't even practice? Why are you even upset about this shit?
See how they do? See how they do?
And that right there, hold up, that right there, is on code with his people. He's on code with his people the way we need to be on code with our fucking people.
Word.
That's
They all are. They all are.
So I said, damn, a man who's not even a practicing Jew is falling in line. You know what I mean? He got some emotional feelings over some shit that he perceived that Farrakhan said about Jewish people. You know what I mean? So that I was like, you know what? Yeah, man, fuck this dude. You know what I mean? Fuck this dude. Like what is he really doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I felt like my perspective was valuable to this generation, and he helped deliver that. You know what I mean? On his platform. and I was able to get more views on his platform than I would have had I just started my shit out of nowhere. You know what I mean? So that was, and I felt like, you know, these legend perspectives, these authentic hip hop voices need to be heard, because a lot of these motherfuckers think they know what this hip hop shit is, and they don't. You know what I mean? They didn't see this shit grow from its infancy.
That's a fact.
And
Peter Guns just stepped in the room.
Peter Guns was good. So yeah, so it was like, man, fuck this dude, man. And so yeah, he never called me after that. We told him, yo, we not fucking with you. We gonna Godfrey's like, oh, we gonna shit on you. We all laughed about it and all of that type of shit. You know what I mean? And then we went ahead and did the show. So we ain't do no sucker shit. We did it like, oh, I thought that was your friend. Yeah, well, I went to him like a friend, gave him a chance to repent. He didn't want to do it. So either you with me or you against me.
He ain't want to atone.
He ain't want to atone. And at the end of the day, I saw it was some real ego shit too. Like it was some real, like his ego. Like he thinks he's as big as Farrakhan. Some shit.
Yeah,
like nigga, like yo, if I could do it in person, if I could talk to him in person, nigga, fuck out of here.
And yeah, Vlad had the nerve to think that he could broker, you know, the situation into an interview with Louis Farrakhan. So he said he'll ask for forgiveness or he'll apologize if he's able to get a sit down with Louis Farrakhan. You know, this guy doesn't stop. You know, you got to give it to him, man. He doesn't have any moral compass. It's all about $1 for this guy. And, you know, he thinks that he can just chime in and make comments and suggestions about Black issues with impunity. And I want to double back to the point, you know, because like most Jews, if not all, he's easily offended if Jews are spoken of in a less than favorable light. And this, to me, is the essence of hypocrisy. You have to remember, turnabout is fair play, man. If you want to play that game, two can play that game. And you can't get mad, you know, when the tables turn, bruh. You know, he always likes to brag about recognizing his status as a guest in hip hop, yet he doesn't conduct himself as a guest should. A guest does not visit one's home and then involve himself in the affairs as a guest of what's going on in that household. You respect the rules of the house. You know, if they require you to take your shoes off, you remove your shoes. You know, if they require you to sit in a certain seat or chair or a certain room, or if they tell you to use this bathroom, you know, they lay out the house rules to you, even if you're going to spend the night and get comfortable. You know, you're going to sleep here. This is going to be where you sleep. This is the bathroom you use when you want to go ahead and relieve yourself, take a shower. Here's a towel. Here's a washcloth. The soap is here. You know, they pretty much give you the layout. You know, after 10 o'clock, we pretty much shut the house down. So, you know, if you're up, make sure you try to keep the noise down. We don't do any cooking after a certain hour. If you're going to use the kitchen, please clean up after yourself. These are simple things that, you know, Vlad seems to not understand or feels that, you know, he's outside of the law. You know, when you come in someone's home and you want to stick yourself or insert yourself into their affairs, it's impolite, you know. It's uncouth, unsavvy, it's crude, rude, it's plain old disrespectful. You know, this was why he got into it, and this is why Rick Ross goons put hands and feet on Vlad, because he wanted to run his mouth. And you know, where I come from, I've seen it. You know, I've seen guys running off at the mouth. And sometimes you get punched right in it. And sometimes that's the best thing for you. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's a great way to receive some understanding is to get hit in your motherfucking mouth. You know, I'm sorry. Violence doesn't solve everything, but some things You know, a good slap upside the head, man, can bring you back to reality and let you figure out how to navigate from there on, you know. So let's see. And I did do a video recently because Vlad claims to be a journalist. And he actually had a real journalist on the show. Guy by the name of George Cheedy. Let me take this off the screen. And George Cheedy is a journalist here in Atlanta. I'm not sure which publication he works for. He may be independent at this point. But when he came on the Vlad's platform, Cheedy reports on politics. He reports on crime. And one of the crimes that he continues to report on is the Young Thug YSL Gunna, that whole RICO case. And apparently when Young Thug's baby mom got gunned down at the bowling alley, he made some assumptions about why that happened. And he clearly felt that he was wrong later, and he apologized that he took time to come on Vlad and actually offer an apology for misspeaking about a situation. And I want to show that because this is what a true journalist and one that's operating within a subculture. This is how you conduct yourself when you fuck up. You apologize. Comment section. Smack.
I appreciate you really digging in and doing your job as a journalist, one journalist to another. What you've done is exceptional.
And here is Vlad. I'm glad I played this clip because here is Vlad, again, the self-proclaimed journalist, trying to put himself on par with George Cheedy, a man who I believe went to school for journalism and didn't get his start on YouTube. Not a knock to anybody who got their start on YouTube or used YouTube as a platform to level up, but it's levels to this.
And I hope you keep doing it. I will. Thank you. You're very welcome. Until next time. Peace.
So I wanted to break down this short clip. Here it is right here.
Young Thug's child's mother, LaCavia Jackson, ends up getting killed in a bowling alley in Atlanta, well, outside of a bowling alley in Atlanta.
And I titled this video, DJ Vlad Gets Schooled by a Real Journalist on Integrity.
People were assuming this is just a random shooting, just two people arguing over a bowling ball, but you feel there's more to it.
Well, that's the thing. At least I did it first. Let me just say one. It appears that I was wrong, and I have some apologies to make for that. I want to apologize to the family of Jeffrey Williams.
And I don't know if George Cheedy is aware of the dust up with DJ Vlad misquoting Minister Louis Farrakhan. But to me, this is one of those moments where I know Vlad had to be thinking about that situation as George Cheedy went out of his way very demonstrably to very humbly offer an apology. I mean, George Cheedy was like, yo, like he had his hat. If he had a hat, it would have been in his hand. And one of the most humble apologies one could have offered. But let's go.
For making that error. It wasn't error. There was no malice there. I was looking at the statistical probability.
And you let it be known it was an error, There was no malice, intention.
Of somebody being killed at random who also just happened to be involved with, like, tangentially, all of this other stuff that had been going on.
Vlad should take notes. It's very easy. And this is because about a year or so ago, Vlad took a lot of heat for misquoting the minister Louis Farrakhan, and what it seemed to, what it seemed to me and to many others, a rush to attempt to smear the minister Louis Farrakhan. And upon being corrected about the context in which Louis Farrakhan was speaking, and although he retracted, well, he didn't retract. He pretty much edited that part of the video out, re-uploaded it without an apology or any type of public acknowledgement. And that whole situation caused him to fall out with Lord Jamar and Godfrey, who were regulars on his platform. He took heat from a host of others. I believe Royce the 5'9" chimed in. Quite a few from the community chimed in. So this is why I'm showing this clip.
I've spent the last year of my life looking at 7 years of back and forth.
Fair use.
In YSL, where their family members were being targeted and were involved. And then I saw Lakeithia Jackson's murder, like knowing that this indictment was coming, thinking this has got to be connected. The police and the district attorney and the family all insist that there is no connection. I made a statistical inference based on all of the other crimes that are going on. But it doesn't, it actually looks like a random act of violence. And that speaks to how much violence is actually occurring on the street in Atlanta, and why the district attorney is all hot to arrest gang members any way she can right now.
So again, just as an example, which happened to be during an interview with Vlad, of a real journalist stepping up to the plate, taking accountability, apologizing for misspeaking about a situation, rushing to judgment on a situation, which I guess, again, he ultimately believes and feels that he was wrong about. So Vlad should definitely take note, especially since he's claiming he's a journalist and comparing himself as a journalist to the gentleman George Chidi.
Destiny is all that matters. Gotta go. I'm late. Mad how to be chillin' at the top. See when you get there. A lot of y'all try. I'm wondering, is it bad?
So yeah, Vlad, a journalist. I have some questions about that. I got some questions. And another thing that Vlad likes to do is he likes to have guests on who may not be on good terms with one another. His most famous example of that is when he had Young Buck on the channel. Young Buck came on the channel, spoke out about a lot of issues, but one in particular, he spoke about Juvenile, then portrayed Juvenile in the most favorable light. Said something about Juvenile left him and some other guys stranded out in LA. They went to look for him in the room. Juvenile had got on the bus and left him. So that was Young Buck's story. Soon after that, he had Juvenile on the show. And as he always does, Vlad likes to come in with these flashbacks and show you clips of somebody else who have, a lot of times, nothing to do with you. But in this case, he wanted to talk about that comment that Young Buck made, and Juvenile pretty much went off. Now, Vlad leaked the edited part of the video. got leaked out from, I guess from a paid subscriber, whatever the case may be. That piece got leaked out before the interview actually dropped. Everybody rushed to, me included, we put that clip out and, I gave my commentary, my response to it. It's on the channel if you want to see it. But this is just a situation where, he had two people on who clearly didn't have the best history and possibly not on good terms. One spoke on the other. He brings the other one on and says, hey, so-and-so said this about you. That's an instigatory move. That's you instigating beef, Vlad, because Juvenile didn't come on here to talk about Young Buck. He pretty much let Vlad know how he felt about the situation. And it's a couple of things I want to show in this clip. I want to show you guys the clip. Because Vlad does know how to apologize. Bear with me. I'm just looking for the video. Turn my cam back on.
Man, like this, but I can't, man. I hate Buck. It was your interview he done that really made me trigger back to like fuck him. Like I really fuck him for real, man.
Okay, fair enough.
That can't come out for the record.
I don't care what he put out. I don't give a fuck. Fuck Buck.
So I don't know how this clip managed to escape.
Buck is a bitch ass nigga, so we ain't gonna talk about Buck at all. Period. Fuck Buck.
It's Dirty Laundry Media on the check-in thing and us.
He actually ended up joining up with you.
Buck is a bitch. Don't bruh. I hate Buck. I hate Young Buck, fam. Buck is a bitch ass nigga, so we ain't gonna talk about Buck at all. Period.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I'm sorry. What was that?
He said it really quickly. I'm sorry. What was that? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm sorry. What was that?
So Vlad does know how to apologize. And that's because Juvenile was right there in his face and he was catching heat from not only from Juvenile, but from people in his camp. His handlers was also going.
Chris just said we had a few more minutes left.
We're gonna wrap up. You're asking all the wrong questions. Talk about
yeah, man. Yeah.
They was about to wrap the video.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm sorry. What was that,
bro?
Chris just said we had a few more minutes left.
We're gonna wrap up. You're asking all the wrong questions. Talk about
yeah, man. You gotta ask me.
I'm sorry.
Look, hey, you do me a favor. Just ask me about me. Don't throw them names like this. But I can't, man. I hate Buck. It was your interview he done that really made me trigger back to like fuck him. Like I really.
So Juvenile pretty much told him, bro, like, yo, I don't fuck with Young Buck. I don't like Young Buck. He's not good in my book. And as a matter of fact, it was your interview, Vlad, that turned me back up on this bullshit. This man told you to your face, man, what people telling you in your comments, what people telling you behind the scenes, like, bro, like your tactics, man, you know, they're problematic, family. If you want to be a guest, calm that bullshit down, man. You instigating situations that if they spin out of control and they actually go to ground, you're not going to be nowhere around, fam. And when you moving around, you got hired guns. You know, these people are walking around in the street. They're lucky to have personal protection. But most of these cats are not walking around with hired guns, man, with paid security. When shit get real, man, it's every man for himself. They're not living in a gated community in Calabasas with high-tech security cameras, security patrolling, police patrolling. You got to be careful, man. These not the usual suspects, my G.
Fuck him for real, fam.
Okay, fair enough.
That can't come out for the record, okay?
I don't care what he put out. I don't give a fuck. Fuck Buck.
So I don't know how this clip managed to escape Vlad's clutches, but it's out, and here it is. This clip is from, I guess, one of Vlad's latest interview series in which he's interviewing. And you can see right over here, here it is. Young Buck on Juvenile, leaving him stranded in L.A. during meetings with Suge Knight. That was about a year ago as well. You know, so Vlad is just fucking up all over the place, man. You know, you want to be in the car, but you don't want to help chip in for gas, my G. Like, what the fuck is going on, man? Juvenile straight up told you, man. It was only because of your interview with Young Buck that I'm turned up about this shit, man. Perfect example of what we're talking about, man. And I got turned up on this. I kind of want to play. I think I'm going to have to play some of Kwame Brown, man, because Kwame Brown, boy, I'm being nice. Like I said, I'm trying to offer a thoughtful analysis. I'm not trying to attack you personally. But Kwame Brown took the gloves off. And I think I need to play a little bit of that video. I hope it's cool with the brother if I react and give a thoughtful analysis to his roasting. I'm going to have to work that in here. A couple of other things, though. So Vlad can apologize to Juvenile, but he can't apologize to Minister Louis Farrakhan. But he wants to apologize to him on camera in an interview that he can monetize over and over and over again. And I'm glad that Mr. Louis Farrakhan never granted him an interview, or from what I, no, even entertained giving this man an interview. And the list goes on. We're not done yet. You know, if y'all still, thanks for everybody who riding with me. The 7 people in the chat right now. I salute you. You guys are the real MVPs. And if you look around the channel, you can, at this time, you can purchase a membership. You know, this is just FYI, no pressure. You can purchase a membership on the channel. You can offer super chats if you're enjoying the content. You can give super thanks. You can hit the Cash App. But yeah, this is, again, just for awareness. So what else is going on? One other thing I want to bring up. Vlad is delusional. If you ever listen to some of Vlad's interviews, and I'm not sure if I saved any clips. I don't know if I saved any clips. Let me stop sharing my screen real quick. But Vlad gets into these discussions. You know, Vlad has on a lot of rappers that have street backgrounds, you know, either they're from the streets or still in the streets, planning to be in the streets, whatever the case may be. And this is particularly pertaining to those guys, those types of guys, because not everybody has a street background. But these are the guys that Vlad likes to get on his channel because he wants to talk about all the fucked up shit that happens in the hood. You know, Vlad's going to ask you, hey, you know, how was it when you grew up? You know, did you have a mom and dad? Was your dad there? Oh, if you did have a dad, Vlad is very surprised. But I digress. As it relates to the artists and to the rappers that he has on who come from these backgrounds, these urban, underserved, poverty-ridden, crime-infested, over-policed types of backgrounds, Vlad likes to compare himself to these guys and compare any conflict that he may have in his corporate life, you know, because Vlad pretty much lives a corporate life. He likes to compare, you know, his situations to situations that take place in the street. And I sit here and watch him time after time, like, what in the hell is going on? Vlad is definitely, you know, a little delusional in that aspect because no way in any shape, form, or fashion does your life mirror the life of even somebody like me, who I come from that community. I come from Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, before it was gentrified. You know what I mean? Where you could go to the grocery store to pick up some milk and some butter for Ma Dukes and have to, you know, fight your way to the store and fight your way on the way back to the store. You know what I'm saying? You might become a victim of circumstances. You might come back home without your sneakers, without your jacket, without your hat, without your coat, without any of that. You know, it can happen. This is where I come from. You know what I mean? So, you know, I don't think Vlad grew up like that. I don't think Vlad grew up where he had to always have his guard up. You know, where if you look a guy in the eye, it could go up, you know, just off a quick glance at a guy. You know what I'm saying? Where people are just looking for any reason to make you a victim. And he constantly makes comparisons between himself and a person that grew up like that. And it just lets me know that his reality is skewed. You know, you've been around these guys, you idolizing, fetishizing this lifestyle a little too hard, man, when you can't differentiate, you know, between yourself and this character that this person's portraying or this lifestyle that this person has lived as opposed to the lifestyle that you're living. They're in no way similar. You know, even a person like myself, you know, I'm removed from that, you know, from that environment. So when I see somebody who is still in that environment or just coming out of that environment, while I might be able to identify and relate to where they are because I've been there, the station that I'm at, I in no way compare myself to where I'm currently at, to where they are. Although, like I said, I might identify with where they're coming from and where they currently are because I've been there. Vlad, you've never been there. So that just shows me that he is a little delusional. And I don't mean that, you know, as a personal slight, but I'm just, you know, I can only go by what you're giving me, man. You know, I can only go by what you're giving me. If it was a friend of mine who was acting like that, I'd let him know the same thing. You know, you're 50 years old, Vlad, and you're having Twitter spats with 20-year-old rappers whose frontal lobes haven't even fully developed. You know, he got into it with NLE Chopper on Twitter, and they had a little back and forth. And Vlad was really talking tough, you know, on this back and forth. And after the fact, he was able to get NLE Chopper on the show, and he was portraying it to NLE Chopper. I think also the DJ Academics as if this was some real sort of beef. And then, academics, didn't really say much, but he just, yeah, okay. But he was trying to compare this to a real beef. And I think academics say he was proud, whatever. I guess he pandered to him or whatever the case may be. But this wasn't a real beef, man. This was a Twitter spat between a 50-year-old Ukrainian Jew who had shoehorned his way into the culture by proclaiming himself to be a DJ, and then eventually working his way into the culture with his YouTube platform. Leor Cohen, how did Leor Cohen get into the game? Leor Cohen got into the game similarly, and I digress, but Leor Cohen is also lived in California. I think they both went to, did they go to UC? I think they all went to UC. Some, Berkeley, I believe, might be Berkeley. Vlad was a software guy. Leor worked for a bank, Loomis Bank, which was a Jewish bank, an Israeli bank. And while he was working for the bank, I guess he decided to get into promotions, and I guess he went to a concert, met Run DMC, met Russell Simmons, or either he put on a concert, promoted a concert, and bought those guys out, made a little money, and then parlayed that into a promotions company, and eventually parlayed, I guess, his relationship with Run DMC and Russell Simmons into a position as a road manager at Def Jam. So, but you never know the full story. You don't know who gets planted where and for what. So for me to know that you went to UC Berkeley, you worked at an Israeli bank, finance guy, money guy, you threw a show, you brought Run DMC out, you brought Houdini out, and then eventually you were a road manager, at the greatest hip hop label, to put it down, especially for that era. Could you be a plant? Sure. Could Vlad be a plant? Sure. Their narratives kind of line up. So, but again, I digress. Your beef with NLE Chopper wasn't a real beef, Vlad. Relax. And another thing he's been complaining about is Lil Durk dissing him. And we all know who Lil Durk is. Now, Lil Durk dissed him on a song, say he doesn't fuck with Vlad. Now, Vlad is complaining about this to anybody who'll listen. Motherfuckers don't even know who Lil Durk is, and he's on here butthurt, crying about DJ Vlad. Lil Durk doesn't fuck with him. He brought it up to Breezy 600. He brought it up to DJ Academics. Then he's gonna turn around and say King Von would have been bigger than Lil Durk if he had lived. And that might be true or not, but it just seemed like him being butthurt, he thought that'd be something good to say, for Lil Durk to hear that. And I guess he thought that was going to make it better. But trust me, that's not going to make it better. I'm going to play a clip. This dude sound like he want to cry. This is the Breezy 600 clip. Let me share this with you guys real quickly. And this just shows how bad, Vlad wants to be down. And it also shows you how delusional Vlad is.
I mean, whatever this young boy, Lil Durk beef is about, I don't know if it's about a girl or what, but the amount of death and destruction that happened between the shit. Because people compare it to the Tupac and Biggie situation. I personally think it's worse. I think it's gotten more deadly.
It's way worse.
Yeah,
it's way worse for the fact that we even closer to each other. Tupac and Biggie would.
This is fair use for educational purposes, criticism.
New
So
York
forth
and
and so
LA.
on.
Even though Tupac is originally from them, and that's what it was. This is way Von became the Durkio that everybody knows. Von just got out of jail from beating murders. He was moving too fast.
Oh, really? Because I've always supported Dirk. A lot of it, man, is just egos.
Too fast, too quick.
Yeah, I just think a lot of it, man, is just egos. Like, like Lil Durk on his last album said I was fucking glad. And I'm like, really? Because I've always
Man,
supported
butt
Dirk.
hurt.
I pulled up, we've hung out together. Like I did all his early interviews.
Yeah.
We've had long conversations and everything. And I'm like, I don't even know what it's about.
They
but I'm like,
paint a
but why?
picture.
But why? Like you could call me, you could hit me.
But it's like, but why you saying that? Though? They paint a picture of you is to be in the police. So I done sat in front of you 3 times.
Yeah.
You ain't never did no police shit. You ain't never asked me no police ass questions like, oh, I heard this person got shot and they said you was around, or oh, how many bodies do you got? Or oh, you never did none of that shit.
Dirk knows me, man.
Like,
Dirk knows me, and when I heard that, it hurt my feelings a little bit because I was just like, whatever it is, you and I have hung out together. And I'm not at all that type of person. I'm not going to go and try to do anything, whatever. You know who I am. I'm a lot older than you. But to put that kind of energy out there, I felt was just unnecessary, especially on your album, on your records, like one of your permanent pieces out there, because I have no ill will towards you at all. But to create these types of bad feelings or whatever else, who knows? I got fans just like everyone else. I don't know what the fuck these fans going to do, and I don't want them to do nothing. But you're creating, remember he said, okay,
so see what I'm saying is, this is what I'm talking about, how Vlad is delusional, because he's making it seem as if he has fans to the point where they're going to actually do something to Lil Durk if they see him in the streets. Talk about, well, I have fans. Bro, your fans ain't going to do shit but hop in somebody's comment section. This is not beef, my G. He's just saying he don't fuck with you. He's not saying he's going to do something to you. His fans ain't giving a fuck about you. So for you to even get up here on your channel, sit up there and talk about, oh, I got fans, I don't want my fans to, you never know what somebody's going to do. This is another example of how you're delusional. You're blowing it way out of proportion, my G, or you're using it for clout. But still in all, it's not making sense. It's not making sense.
Dissing my ops and stop dissing the dead and everything else like that, But I feel like, you were so big at this point. He sold out the United Center, right? Like, you're so big that people aren't fucking with you because you're doing this. You actually make good music. Drake fucks with you. Like, everyone fucks with you. You don't need this type of energy anymore. And even if you don't fuck with me anymore, it's not necessary to put that on record. And you could also have a conversation with me, because I've always been open to having a conversation with him. I still, to this day, don't even know what that line came from. And like I said, it sort of hurt me a little bit, because I'm like, I thought we was
you felt like y'all was cool.
I thought we was cool. Like, I remember there's a picture of us in front of my Maserati in LA on Sunset Boulevard, chilling, taking pictures together. I'm like,
he want to know why Lil Durk don't fuck with him. He knows why. Because he got on an interview with Charleston White. Charleston White was going in on Lil Durk about some lyrics. I can't remember. I wish I had that clip, but Charleston White was going in on Lil Durk for some lyrics, how they dissing the dead ops, yada, yada, yada. And he wanted Vlad to agree that these particular lyrics were heinous, distasteful, or something to that effect. And Vlad agreed with Charleston White. That's what I'm saying, man. The rules that you live your life by don't apply in the culture, especially like, and there's levels to the culture, man. You know what I'm saying? It's levels to this shit. These guys come from the bottom of the bottom. your rules definitely don't apply. Now, in polite society, you might be able to get away with some fuckery and not get a foot up your ass or get your fucking head beat in. But in certain circles, man, these same missteps might get you put down, man, in a major way. So it's like, bro, like you frowning upon the culture, man, and people have tried to get you together even behind the scenes, as Lord Jamar attests to. So it's disrespect at this point. When somebody pulls your coat, it says you're moving wrong and you continue to move that particular way. It's just either you stupid or you disrespectful. Which one is it?
You know, our last interview was a dope ass interview. Like he's
and then he complains to DJ Academics about the very same thing.
Vlad, he showed up the middle finger in the video. And that was his last album.
And the man said he don't fuck with you, but you're gonna keep his name in your mouth. If somebody say they don't fuck with me, man, I'm gonna leave it alone, man, for the most part. He ain't taking no food off my table. I'm gonna leave that shit alone, man. Somebody don't fuck with me, they don't fuck with me. You know, ain't no sense of getting butthurt about it as a man. Let that man do his thing. I'm gonna do my thing.
Look, like
probably be better for it.
Lil Durk dissed me on his last album. He said, I don't fuck with Vlad. He showed up the middle finger in the video. And I'm just like, the fuck is this about? Like, I've really been supportive of this dude a lot through his whole early career. Like from 2013, 14, I remember I pulled up on him in LA, but I had the Maserati. There's pictures of us together hanging out. We would talk. He would tweet me, so I would retweet him and everything else like that. And it's like,
wipe your mouth, Vlad. Good Lord. Just sucking this man off like that, man. This shit's, come on, bro.
Like, now you want to diss me on a record, but nobody knows why.
Hey, Dirk, I think Dirk is the smartest gangster rapper. What I mean by smartest, I think he knows how to move the algorithm, say things to sell records. And I think that's why it gets a little dicey, because I think at times he'll say stuff to make a moment that might actually get him or people around him.
Academics hitting him with the word salad, man. I'm telling you why Lil Durk doesn't fuck with you, Vlad. It's because you had Charleston White on the platform. Charleston White, you know how he talks about, you know, these drill rappers and these gang rappers. He was talking down on some of Lil Durk's lyrics. He made you agree with him, and you went along with it. It's pretty simple. Smash like on here if you're just getting in the room. Welcome to Dirty Laundry Media. See if I can find this clip. Bear with me. And yeah, he's interviewed Lil Durk several times over the past few years, but you know, just because you were once cool, that doesn't mean we're gonna always be cool, especially if you out here agreeing with my ops or who he might perceive to be his ops. And Charleston White and many of these young guys, you know, he's the ops because he's speaking against what they're doing. Yeah, I don't know where that clip is at, man. But you guys get it, man. You get the picture. But like I did say, Kwame Brown, he pulled the gloves off. You know, he probably said a lot of things that I might not say at this point in time. And this all began, again, like I believe with DJ Academics. DJ Academics was on the podcast. Excuse me. And hit my camera back on. What's up, guys? I'm back. And he brought up some of his past dealings with Tariq Nasheed and Tommy Sotomayor. And this is another case of Vlad interviewing parties that are not on good terms, because Tariq Nasheed and Tommy Sotomayor were publicly beefing and going at each other at this point in time. He interviewed Tariq Nasheed first, and later on he interviewed Tommy Sotomayor. Now, while he was interviewing Tommy Sotomayor decided to go live and let everybody know that he was sitting with Vlad. So Tariq Nasheed caught the live, and since he had recently interviewed with Vlad, he knew the location. You know, Vlad doesn't actually publicize the location. I guess if you're going for an interview, you get the location. So Nasheed saw the live, knew the location, and he popped up. He popped up on Vlad. He bum rushed the interview. He ran up, stood over Tommy, and it was a scene. You know, it was a scene. It went viral. It was a viral moment. You could hear Vlad in the background. What's going on? What's going on? Oh my God. Oh my God. You know what I mean? Tariq again, towering over Tommy Sotomayor. He had the crispy doll that he was the Crispy Award or something. He said he was trying to give him his Crispy Award, but he basically bum rushed the set, ran up on Tommy. Vlad was telling DJ Academics about the situation, and, you know, pretty much talking down on Tariq Nasheed, saying it was disrespectful, yada, yada, yada. Talk about disrespect. That's what I'm saying. You know, he needs to hold the mirror up, you know, but, you know, he claims that, you know, this was disrespectful behavior. But again, I'm saying you're operating in a culture where if you have beef with somebody, if you're talking greasy about somebody, they might come see you. You know, people don't care. You know, they don't care about police. They don't care about your security. If somebody want to get at you and they see you, they might go. This is what you're dealing with, man, in some of these scenarios. And while Tariq Nasheed didn't bust up in there, you know, and with violence and tear up your studio or attack anybody, he just pretty much showed you how easy it was that somebody could get touched, because he could have did what he wanted to do, because you guys wasn't expecting that. And that's when it usually happens, when you least expect it. So, you know, Vlad's crying to Academics about how it was disrespectful. He almost got hit with a lawsuit from Tommy Sotomayor, because Tommy Sotomayor thought he was set up, started taping his phone calls, yada, yada, yada. He never aired the Tommy Sotomayor video. He says he didn't air it because he saw later on how Tommy Sotomayor was so anti-black woman. But that's a bunch of bullshit. He was going to air that video, but I believe Tommy Sotomayor probably told him don't do it. Because at that point, he probably didn't want DJ Vlad to get any pay off of him at his expense, especially if he's claiming that Vlad has something to do with Tariq Nasheed popping up. And even if he doesn't believe it, just to level that accusation could cause some legal drama. And DJ Vlad pulled the interview or never published the interview. And ultimately, he says he also pulled all of Tariq Nasheed's content, I guess, you know, because he was mad and didn't want to keep him on his platform. But Kwame Brown, who is somebody not on good terms with Vlad because Vlad keeps instigating, Vlad stays instigating the beef. Vlad started to bring Gilbert Arenas on his platform, in my opinion, and I believe Kwame Brown pretty much agrees that he brought Gilbert Arenas onto the platform to instigate beef with Kwame Brown. In my estimation, it's because of DJ Vlad's connection to Charlemagne the God. Charlemagne the God went at Kwame. Kwame Brown, in turn, gave Charlemagne the attention that he wanted. I gave him a little bit on my channel as well. Again, you guys check out the channel and see, just check out some of the content. So for me, I know that Vlad and Charlemagne are tight. Charlemagne could have possibly called in a favor of Vlad, say, hey man, I need you to go, work your magic, and we need to try to, take Kwame Brown down a few notches. And he probably figured he bring on a peer of Kwame Brown, somebody who might not be on the best of terms with Kwame Brown, and hence the Gilbert Arenas Kwame Brown saga, and I believe it continues to this day. So this was Kwame Brown Bust Life's response.
I don't know why it's messing up my live going down the steps. I got to see if it's going to mess my live all the way up. If it is, I'm going to come back up. I just saw a dude say I played him when I was at Liberty. When I was at Glit Academy, we played Liberty High School. Got me a good workout in. But I saw Tariq Nasheed went smooth. Let me walk over this way. I saw Tariq Nasheed. He went smooth slam off on the dude. On a dude named Vlad TV. Vlad, you've been having a rough go of it, boy. Everybody's starting to see that every time you do an interview, if you can't ask these madlock police questions, then, you really don't interview very well. It's not your fault. Like you say, you want to say plausible deniability is not your fault. People should know better. Well, that's the same thing the banks use, allegedly, to take money away from people. They'll email you. They'll send you certain things, and if you don't respond, they'll say it's your fault. So Vlad, you use these bullshit tactics that's not of the people. And your plausible deniability is no longer working, Vlad. You got Tariq Nasheed, a guy who has made a lot of documentaries about Black folks, and Black people really like the Hidden Colors series, and they really like Black folks. They like what he do for Black people. So for you to highlight and act as if you didn't know what Tommy Sotomayor was about, you are a guy who owns $1 million platform, and you mean to tell me you didn't vet what Tommy Sotomayor was bringing to the table before you brought him? Now all of a sudden you have a moral high ground when you were allegedly about to be sued by Tammy for what he thought was a setup, and now you have a moral high ground. That's what you want to say. I think that's a weak excuse. You still got Valentino questions to answer, my friend. Valentino said, hey, there was some women that went missing. You asked about these women. Allegedly, I think Valentino may have snapped. You asked about women from Valentino, he said. And we would like you to answer those questions about Valentino. Why are you worried about whether
Tariq Nasheed. It seems like every time your well is starting to run dry, as far as content, you either got to show videos of a dead man, a deceased man, no disrespect, or you got to invoke a rapper. You got to bring up a rapper to talk about a situation in hip hop, or you do what you do now, just stir up some mischief over some bullshit. I respect what Tariq Nasheed said to you. You ain't shit without us black folks. If a black man don't come on your show, you are literally not shit. Now you've amassed some wealth, and nobody's going to be able to take that from you. That's not what this is about. Nobody's going to be able to take the money that you made and saved and you do well with it. That's fine. But what you cannot do any longer is hurt our community as far as asking poor young men about crimes that they may or may not committed, or they may embellish a little bit. They may overstate what their position is just to look good on your platform, sir. And that's the thing that you don't understand. There's a lot of people who come on my platform, and I only have 400,000 subscribers. Matter of fact, it's a little less than that now. And every time people come on my platform, there's people that say, I was nervous, or I was anxious. Just because the amount of subscribers that I have, just because of the amount of people that could see the things that they're saying. So for you to have millions of views and you take the position of, hey, I don't care, they should know better, I think you're a piece of shit. And that's why I never came on your show. And that's why all the sound bites and things that you got came from another nigga, an idiot, that don't know that all you're going to do is use this as content. Same way you did Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels passed away, and what did you do? You don't give a fuck about this coach. What did you do? You put the interview up of Kevin Samuels because it's in the algorithm so you can get paid. Now that's some bitch ass shit. And I think you saw it, Vlad. I really think you saw it. And our community needs to start standing up. Instead of always going against each other, we call off soft ass white boys like you. You ain't even a white boy. You're not even a real white boy. You just a soft ass dude that think that everything you say is supposed to be admired and respected because you have a platform. And the only reason why you have a platform is because you got your ass whipped by a black man. And then now other black men come and talk to you because you made it look like you're a gatekeeper. If another black man would have got their ass whipped by Rick Ross and then started a podcast, wouldn't never one of you niggas go. And that's why I be by myself. This is why I be by myself everywhere I go for the most part, is because you niggas are foreign. Some of you niggas are foreign to me. You niggas will make, if a nigga did what Vlad TV did, if a nigga got beat up by Rick Ross and made a motherfucking podcast, that nigga podcast wouldn't have got nowhere. But because Vlad TV got beat up by a black man, Rick Ross, all of a sudden he's the end all be all for hip hop. You motherfuckers crazy. You motherfuckers crazy. Y'all letting this bitch ass white boy, whatever the hell he is, he ain't even a white boy, he a Russian boy. And no disrespect to anybody Russian, but I got a problem with this motherfucker right here. So it ain't no disrespect to everybody, it's a disrespect to this punk ass bitch. Because for some reason, he really think he like that. He really think because of this internet, he like that. And I don't go off of that. My manhood don't go off of no internet. My manhood don't go off of no how many subscribers you got. My manhood don't go off of money and all this bullshit. My manhood go off of being a man. And there's certain things and there's certain rules to this shit on being a man. Not no street nigga, not no goddamn gangster, a man. And a man don't do what you do, nigga. A man don't placate. You ain't never go against the grain on nothing that you thought was wrong. Nigga, you placate toward black women, you pander to black women, you pander to street violence. That's all you do, nigga. You don't never sit up here and say, hey, maybe some of the stuff you guys are doing is wrong. Maybe some of the murder, you'll sit here and perpetuate the bullshit. Hey man, you can say whatever you want over here. And if the feds ask me for my videos, hell, I won't give it to them. I'll fight it tooth and nail. You a goddamn lie, nigga. It's on video. Ain't no fed got a goddamn ask you for nothing, huh? And so for you to sit here and act.
And the way Vlad asks a lot of these questions, I believe he has some sort of training, some sort of law enforcement training or Wicklander training in which you get certified and you know how to ask. What do you call it? Interrogation style interview techniques. Yeah, somebody need to ask Vlad if he's Wicklander certified, because he definitely has a style reminiscent of a police interrogation. And a lot of times they act, you know, friendly. You know, they kind of pander to you, stroke your ego a little bit, get you to run your mouth. And excuse me, I was hungry as hell. So
Everybody, I'm Vlad. Vlad likes to say bad shit about people. Vlad, I love Vlad. Vlad, I like Vlad because he makes interviews, get people in trouble. He likes to get people in big trouble, especially black people. Vlad is sneaky.
even Vlad know. Even Elmo knows.
Vlad, I love Vlad. Vlad, I like Vlad because he makes interviews, get people in trouble. He likes to get people in big trouble, especially black people. Vlad is sneaky.
And that was Godfrey. Actually, while he was sitting for a Vlad interview, doing his best Elmo impersonation and talking shit about Vlad right in his face. I think this is why Vlad was like, fuck you guys. He didn't like this shit. I remember that interview when he went into that Elmo impersonation right in front of Vlad, said Vlad is sneaky and likes to get black people in trouble. Vlad wasn't laughing. I got to play this shit again. This is some good comic relief, man. This shit is funny. And then I put this together. This is me. I actually edited this with Elmo and Godfrey's voice. This is on my other channel, Streets Gotta Eat. I'm trying to build that one up. You guys go ahead and subscribe to that channel as well. Got 345 subscribers. We're trying to hit 1,000. I'm trying to hit the benchmark so I can monetize that channel as well. I went through hell and high water to get this channel monetized. Good grief, I had to delete so many videos off the channel, but I'm trying to start that one. You guys go ahead and check that out. Streets Gotta Eat, and hit me with the subscriber. Hit that subscribe button, notification bell. You guys know the drill. So I got 345 now. So by the end of the night, I'm hoping to have at least 5 more subscribers, you guys. But I got to play this shit one more time. This is funny. Gotta laugh.
Everybody, I'm Vlad. Vlad likes to say bad shit about people. Vlad, I love Vlad. Vlad, I like Vlad because he makes interviews,
So yeah, you guys go ahead and check out that channel. Let's see, we're coming to the end. Excuse me, we're coming to the end. And there's one other thing I wanted to mention really quickly as well. Again, Vlad ending up on the wrong side of history time and time and time again. Now, if you're familiar with the podcast, if you're familiar with Vlad's podcast, you know there's a character by the name of Mob James, who was an employee at Death Row back in their heyday. Worked under Suge, him, his brother, I can't remember his brother's name, worked as Death Row, security, muscle, that type of situation. He became a regular on Vlad's podcast. And in becoming a regular on the podcast, he was able to parlay his popularity and from Vlad into a spot on a podcast of his very own. I can't remember. Was it Gangster Chronicles? I believe it was. It was Mob James, Alex Alonso, and a brother named Steele, I believe. And it was a pretty good podcast. I believe eventually MC8 stepped in because it was also, who was it? Was Reggie Wright involved? And then he went to prison, and I think MC8 got involved, but I'm not sure about, don't quote me on the timeline. But that's what, he ended up being on the podcast. Now, eventually, Mob James came under scrutiny. And anytime you are high profile, even on YouTube, you can ask Kwame Brown, you become a target. And I'm looking for this video that I want to show you guys to go along with this piece right here. So eventually there was some talk, Whack 100, some other people started talking that Mob James was a rat. And eventually this brother here, sorry for the noise, this brother here named FG showed up on the scene, and he put some paperwork in the atmosphere. Alex Alonso also, Alex Alonso put the paperwork in the atmosphere. FG was the guy that Mob James, according to this paperwork, set up and ended up getting him a Fed case. I think the brother did about 10 years in the Feds behind being set up for Mob James, according to his narrative and according to the paperwork. So Mob James went missing for a while. I think he came out and tried to refute the paperwork, saying, hey, if I got paperwork, sure, yada, yada, yada. And again, this brother Alex Alonso, who was down with Mob James at one point, was able to find the paperwork, produce the paperwork. He stepped away from Mob James, as did a lot of other people. Mob James faded to the background. Mob James recently surfaced on Vlad. They spoke about it, and Vlad tried to characterize the paperwork as fake and saying that people are hating, essentially trying to deflect from the validity of the paperwork. So I just want to show a couple of clips. This is the brother FG. I just had it. Hold on. Okay. There's two clips I want to show you. And this is his channel, FG Unleashed. I think I spoke on the brother's name in an earlier video. I think I said FB, but his name is FG. And this one he talks about Vlad TV. He says you owe Alex Alonso an apology for insinuating he made fake Mob James paperwork.
Been missing in action for a minute, but I've been working and shit, you know, doing my fatherly duties and the shit I do, you know what I mean? So I appreciate y'all for tapping back in on me. The funny thing is I was at the homie Donnie Rube 40th birthday party last night, man. We had a ball, man, a good time. Seen a whole lot of homies I hadn't seen in a while, you know what I mean? And so my phone get to blowing up and stuff like that. I see a bunch of texts and shit, a bunch of, you know, inboxes and stuff. So I check it out, you know, we'll see what it is. And guess what it is? You know what I mean? Vlad TV doing another interview with Mob James. You know what I mean? You know, and you know, I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't give a damn if Vlad try to save his homeboy from, you know what I mean, the what it actually is. You know what I mean? That don't concern me. You want to help your homeboy out, help your homeboy out. But what I didn't appreciate, homie, is, you know, him insinuating, you know, that Alex Alonso, you know, was disgruntled about something that went on in Gangster Chronicles. So he falsified some paperwork in order to, you know, put my interview out there, you know, to make Mob James look bad. You know, first and foremost, you know, like I said, I don't care what you say about me, homie, as far as, or what you say about your homeboy, you know. But when you bring Street TV into this and you bring Alex Alonso into this, you know, I got a problem with it. Because Street TV been a credible platform, homie, for many years. And you know that, Vlad. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you know, let me just give you a quick rundown on, you know, I don't owe you no explanation. But before I get on your ass, because I'm going to be on your ass about it, you know, let me give you a quick explanation. You know? When my name was spoken on, you know, in the social media about the situation, you know what I mean? I wasn't gonna let it slide, you know. So I had never heard of Vlad TV. I had never heard of Street TV. I had never heard of Gangster Chronicles. You know what I mean? I never heard of none of that. So what I did was I needed a platform. I called my homeboy Kenzo from Campanella Park. You know what I mean? Westside Compton. I'm like, Zoe, you know, man, I need a favor, homie. He like, I got you. He said, I got a guy named Alex Alonso. I'm gonna introduce you to him. So Zoe hooked me up with Alex Alonso. You know, I sat down with Alex, you know, ran by what I was trying to do. Alex said, you know what? You know, hey, let's make it happen. As long as everything about the story is true, you know what I mean? I don't mind sitting you down. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you know, at this moment, the words are starting to pop up, you know, Whack 100 that, you know, already blast Mob James out, you know, on the Bomb First show, you know what I mean? So, you know, it was apparent that I was going to have to come say something at some point, you know. So paperwork had got out there. People got a hold of the paperwork. It was on the internet, you know, people sending it to each other, you know. And that's one thing I didn't like about what Vlad said. He insinuated that Alex, you know, falsified some documents, you know, in order to make the interview go like it went, you know, it's false information, you know what I mean? So Vlad, you know, you need to correct that, homie. You owe Alex an apology, you know what I mean? And you've been hating on the dude for I don't know how long, you know, but at the end of the day, it's like this. Keep dude name out your mouth, keep Street TV out your mouth when it come to me and Mob James, homie. You know what I mean? Because you already know what it is, you know what I mean? But we did the interview. I sit down with him. You know, Alex was a great interviewer. You know, we became cool. We became partners. You know what I mean? You know, like right now we had no intentions of nothing extra but doing that interview. After the interview, we sit down and talk. Our chemistry was cool. We started doing Streets and Scholars, which is on all podcast platforms, you know, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can check out me and Alex anytime on Streets and Scholars, man. We really get it in over there, you know. So to insinuate that, you know, the guy has something to do with what I put out there, the information I put out there, Alex was just the guy who did a great interview on it. You know what I mean? If you got anything to say about some paperwork or, you know, anything about that, holler at me. Because one thing I do know is you won't have me on your show because you ain't gonna never want me to, you know, blast your homeboy out because you know y'all on some bullshit over there. But anyway, like I say, you know, I was chilling. You know, y'all threw my name back out there. You know, I'm right here again. Vlad, this really towards you. You know what I mean? You just really towards you, homie. So if you got a problem with F, you know how to get in touch with me. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna be back on your ass tomorrow, man. I got to get up out of here and go to work. You know, hey, appreciate y'all for tapping in with FG Unleashed. You know what I mean? You know, Vlad, I'm on your ass. And y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, you know, and I'm out of here. FG.
So there you have that. Very direct and to the point. You know, again, Vlad sticking his nose in the business, in the culture. They got some rap paperwork on this man. This man done the time and can attest to the fact that Mob James was on his paperwork. And he knew from the beginning. Never had any dealings with Mob James. Mob James went out of his way to set him up. Produced the paperwork, and Vlad want to talk about Alex Alonso. Fake the paperwork. So I want to introduce you guys to Alex Alonso. This isn't the clip though. Yeah, this is it.
James Foreman and Mob Control.
And this isn't, you know, throw dirt on Mob James. I don't know the man. But this story is public, and I'm just using this as a teaching tool, as an example of how Vlad puts people who are not on good terms, how he instigates situations, how he puts his nose in business that he needs to fall back from, and the potential consequences. As you heard FG say, he's on Vlad's ass.
Because James McDonald, aka Mob James, was working as a federal informant, and he got you caught up into a drug case. No doubt. And I agree. Look, a lot of people don't know this, but we're going to talk about it. Mob James and myself had a phone call. We had a phone call because he did a stupid video where he said if there was a whole bunch of white boys stomping me out, he would say, "Kill Alex." Yeah. I mean, he's got that much hatred for me, but he don't have the hatred for FG. He don't have that. Look, a lot of people don't know this, but we're going to talk about it. Mob James and myself had a phone call. We had a phone call because he did a stupid video where he said if there was a whole bunch of white boys stomping me out, he would say, "Kill Alex." Yeah. I mean, he's got that much hatred for me, but he don't have the hatred for FG. He don't have the hatred for Wack 100. Right. He got the hatred for the journalist who did the interview. So I took that little clip that he put about wishing death upon me, and I put it on my Facebook just so everyone could see this is where he's at with it. This is the level of hate that he has for me doing an interview with you. And I got a call from him. Reggie Wright Jr. called me up and said, "Hey, Mob James wants to holler at you. Can I tap him in?" I said, "Sure, tap him in on the line." So he tapped him in, and then basically he was calling to apologize for wishing death on me. He said he was denying that what he said was wishing death. I said, it's your words, James. Everyone could see it. My family is watching this shit you said. Right. So he apologized for wishing death on me. He apologized to my wife. My wife was sitting right there when I took the call. And then we also agreed, and this was what Reggie Wright said, "Hey, can we agree to stop talking about it?" And I said, yeah, we could agree to stop talking about it. You know, I won't talk about that he's an informant anymore. I can leave it alone. But then he pops up and he's talking about it again, F.
No doubt, but man, we got to point that finger at Vlad too, man. You know what I mean? We can't give him a pass, you know, because Vlad knows exactly what the hell is going on. You want to steady coming here you know. And James should have went on there and said, listen, man, I don't want to talk about that. I don't know how everybody do their interviews and stuff like that. If it's just wide open, you can ask me whatever, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, he should have notified Vlad that, look, man, I want to stay away from that topic, you know. And Vlad went in and mentioned my name and talked shit about you. So we got to get on his helmet too, you know what I mean? And I don't think it was professional at all. And at the end of the day, you know, James shouldn't even spoke on it again.
Now, let me play a little clip from that. This is part 2 of the Mob James interview on Vlad TV. Let me cue this up. Let's see. Let's see if I can get this to play so people can know exactly what the heck we're talking about. Now, if I can't get it to play, so be it. Let me see.
Well, I mean, from what I understand, that FG interview was with Alex Alonso on his YouTube channel, and Alex Alonso is essentially a disgruntled ex-employee of, the Gangster Chronicles. So obviously, there's a motive for this type of thing. Alex has gone out of the way to talk a bunch of shit about me as well.
Right.
I don't know what the chip on this dude's shoulder is. I could really care less about who this is.
Well, but what this guy Vlad said on this interview, and this is the second time he said it. He says that I've been talking down on him. I've been talking foul on his name, and I've been saying negative things about him. And I really, I guess you could say some of the things are negative. They're just critiques, right? And he has this belief that I got some hatred towards him. But look, I'm gonna break this down. There are 3 things. There are 3 issues I have with Vlad. I have an issue with him speaking on the Honorable Minister Farrakhan falsely and then not apologizing for it. I have a problem with him speaking on reparations for Black Americans and in his
And that was another issue. This happened a couple of years ago when Vlad stuck his nose in the reparations conversation, saying that he believed that reparations should be offered in the form of a free education for the descendants of American slavery. And of course, he got the attention that he asked for. So yeah, and I didn't know Alex Alonso before this. I think I may have been introduced to him on the Gangster Chronicles podcast. So I'm getting to know him, watching this podcast a little more. I got a lot of respect for this brother, Alex Alonso. So y'all check out his channel, Street TV. Hit him with a subscribe. He's got a lot of good. To me, he's more of a journalist than Vlad. But I digress. Let's keep going.
World, reparations comes in the form of free education when reparations should be cash. They were cash for the Japanese. They were cash for the Jews. Right. During the Holocaust, it was cash for Native Americans. But for Black folks, he's saying they should get free education when most people don't need or want a free education. So I had an issue with that. And then I had an issue with him paying for interviews because that is not part of the journalistic protocol. I know with YouTube and social media, people aren't going to abide and respect the rules of journalism. But this is the reason why you have this interview with Mob James, because he paid Mob James for this interview, because I actually was the middle person between the first interview that Vlad paid Mob James for. He paid him $1,000 for the second interview he did. So since then, he's been getting paid each one. So when you pay someone for an interview, you're obligated now to answer all his questions.
Gotcha.
What Mob James should have did was say, hey, I don't want to talk about that topic. Let's move to the next one. But he can't do that when you're getting paid. When you're getting paid, you better answer them. And we've already agreed we're going to stop talking about this. And now you got this guy, Vlad, slandering and libeling my name, saying things that are 100% untrue. Nobody faked any paperwork. What's your response to all that, F?
You know what? No, I feel exactly how you feel. You know what I mean? Vlad was out of line. He know the paperwork real, though. He know exactly what's going on. Vlad got, lawyers and attorneys and people that he can really go get the check. And if he was doing any kind of journalism professionally, he would have had his people check. And he wouldn't have asked him if. He would have asked him, when you did this,
And you guys might remember back when Tekashi 6ix9ine. Well, he caught the Rico Treyway when they all fell, that whole situation. Vlad brought Tekashi's baby mama onto the show, and he had the paperwork from the trial in which Tekashi was giving testimony on the members of the gang. So for Vlad to sit up here and say that the paperwork was fake when he could have easily got his hands on the paperwork and verified it for himself, yet, on one hand, yet on the other hand, claim to be a journalist. It seems that he only applies, his journalism skills selectively, because he made that little girl sit up there and read that testimony. She didn't want to read it. She came back later in the interview, a second interview, and actually stated that she really didn't want to read it, but she felt like she was being pressured, And this is something that Kwame Brown spoke about. When you get these up and coming celebrities or people who have aspirations to be celebrities on your platform, and you have 4 or 5 million subscribers, and knowing a lot of eyes are going to be on them. A lot of these guys come on there. They might not be totally comfortable. They might be nervous, and they may say things they shouldn't say. They may say things that they feel that you want to hear, so that they could possibly be brought back as a guest, or so that the interview can, do good numbers. So, you're kind of preying on that naivety in a sense. And you only do that to, particular, these younger, naive, clout chasing, up and coming rappers, for the most part. So, so you can get your hands on the paperwork, Vlad.
Blah. How did you feel when you did this? Not if.
Well, the point I was trying to make was, even Kwame Brown said when people come on his platform and go on a panel, and Kwame Brown will have 1,000 people watching a broadcast, and sometimes knowing that you're being watched by 1,000 people, you could be nervous. You know what I'm saying? You might lose your train of thought. Or you might ramble on off topic. You might switch from topic to topic, whatever the case may be. But being nervous, being untrained, you may say things that you otherwise wouldn't say, had you had the proper training and a proper frame of mind going into an interview on a large platform.
You know what I mean? And not insinuated that it was some fake paperwork, when he knows damn well that this situation is real and true.
No doubt about it. So, I don't know what my next move is going to be, but I can tell you this: it's not over with at this point. And let me also add this in. When I had this conversation with Mob James, this was a private conversation between me, him, and Reggie Wright Jr. I had no plans on ever speaking again on the issue like we're talking about it now.
And FG appears to be willing to go on Vlad's platform. Why won't Vlad have him on? FG already said he knows that he'll flame his little buddy, Mob James. You know what I'm saying? He had 2 different BMF guys on, I think, who used to beef back in the day. I can't remember the names, but the guy from the BMF series who was singing, what's his name? I can't remember the character's name. But they had the actual real life guy on the show after having a member of Misha's crew who used to have conflict with the guy. So, this is right up Vlad's alley. Have FG on the show, Vlad. Bring him on.
And I really had no plans on even discussing or revealing our private conversation. But I'll say it right now. In that conversation, I told he told me he was disappointed that I would do an interview with you because him and I were friends. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, you're right, we were friends. But when I learned that you were an FBI informant, James, right? I can't rock with that. You are a snitch in the worst way. You have a snitch that, let's say you have a crime and you guys get caught and then you tell on the other one. That's a snitch. this was you went out of your way to snitch.
No motherfucking doubt.
You and FG were not crimies.
No.
You and FG wasn't rocking together. You and FG wasn't really doing anything together. You set this man up. You entrapped him into a cocaine transaction that he would have never done if it wasn't for a favor for Droshan Owens. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're 100% right. You know, and to be honest with you, man, you know what he need to do, homie. For one, you know, Vlad need to apologize to you for one, because you know he don't want to run that fade with you. Because I definitely, hey, Vlad, I know you don't want to run that fade with him, but on the real, what Mob James need to do is call Alex Alonso, come on this show, do an interview, and just lay it all on the line on why he did what he did. You know, tell the truth to the world. You know,
between you, me, and Reggie Wright, you know, we ain't going there. Right. And I said, I dare you to deny it with me on this conversation, because I spoke to the lawyers. I know who the prosecutor is.
My bad. I had the mic muted. Was trying to get rid of a little echo I had in the background. Let's see.
Night, you know, amongst the conversation between you, me, and Reggie.
Well, what I was basically saying, and I didn't know the mic was muted, but I was basically saying Vlad won't go. He wouldn't accept an invitation to go on a platform with Alex Alonso or FG, or he won't have FG on his platform because he knows he's going to get a certain amount of pushback from somebody who's not a friendly. He gets some pushback from some of his regular guests like John Sally sometimes, Michael Jai White sometimes, but it's in a friendly way. He needs to go sit in the lion's den, and not in a physical sense, but just in an intellectual sense. And as far as ideas and somebody able to have a lucid dialogue and back and forth with Vlad, somebody who's on his level. Haven't seen him have this type of discussion in the public forum. He claims he wants to be the 60 Minutes of hip hop. That's one of his taglines, and he wants to ask the tough questions that nobody else in hip hop asks because they don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And I kind of get where you're going, but again, this isn't the 60 Minutes type of crowd. These aren't 60 Minutes type of constituency that you're dealing with here. So 60 Minutes rules are not going to apply. What was a brother named out of Chicago? He was a street blogger, and he would go into the hood and he would get these guys in the trenches, you know, handling guns and, you know, just doing all kind of wild shit. He ended up dead, you know what I'm saying, because he was just too close to the streets. I can't remember what or why, but he ended up getting shot and killed, you know, moving around, trying to be, you know what I'm saying, like an embedded journalist in the hood, you know what I'm saying, getting the real gritty up close and personal footage, and he paid for it with his life. So, you know, this isn't a 60 Minutes type of atmosphere, Holmes. I understand intellectually where you're trying to go, but logistically, that's just not going to work, my G. And FG, you know, the brother here on the right, very articulate, you know what I'm saying, very intelligent brother. Did 10 years in the feds, ex-drug dealer. Okay. Let me get back to the screen real quick. Okay. So, yeah, he's not going to sit across from somebody who's going to be able to match him intellectually and push back. You know, I don't think he, you know, he's the sharpest knife in the drawer. You know, he has a lane. He's good at what he does. But politically speaking, you know, he's not a scholar. And again, he seems to just, you know, check the pulse of the status quo, and whatever they say do, you know, that's the direction that he marches, and that's the narrative that he pushes. He was appalled with DJ Academics when DJ Academics said if Trump runs for office again, that he's going to vote for Trump. And he said he was disappointed in DJ Academics. So, you know, that lets me know he has no willingness to think for himself or think outside of a certain box, philosophically speaking. So, yeah, he needs to sit across from somebody, you know what I'm saying, who can actually challenge him in a more hostile environment. Again, I don't mean physically, I mean intellectually.
Right.
we ain't going there. Right. And I said, I dare you to deny it with me on this conversation, because I spoke to the lawyers. I know who the prosecutor is. I got more paperwork. There are more transcripts. There are more cases. So if you want to go there, James, we can go there. But he was quiet. Of course. He was quiet like a motherfucking mouse. No doubt. So I'm shocked that he decided to go do this interview and let Vlad lie about paperwork being fake.
No doubt, man. And that's where the disrespect came. Because as you see, Alex, I don't talk about shit. You know what I mean? I don't go on my channel, ranting and raving, or even bringing this dude's name up. You know what I mean? The shit is what it is, and it was what it was. But at the same time, for y'all to keep bringing this shit up and bringing this shit up, like you say, it's more. So at the end of the day, man, leave this shit alone. And tell Vlad to leave this shit alone. You know what I mean? And stop taking interviews where this question is going to be asked to you. If you're not willing to keep, for consequences of other information coming out, leave this shit alone.
Yeah, and I even called Vlad up. I called Vlad up. Dude blocked me. He ain't taking my call. I sent him a text. And he got message from other people that he does interviews with. I hit them up because I know they talk. Exactly. I said, hey, tell Vlad to call me. He said, all right, I'm on it right now. I did that for like 2 or 3 people. Right. Nope.
Vlad don't want the smoke from somebody who's his equal. You know what I'm saying? Listen to this brother, Alex Alonso. Very articulate, very polished, very professional, and, standing on principle as a journalist, as a man, reaching out to Vlad in a professional manner to clear the air, to work this shit out, to hash it out, and Vlad running, tucking his tail and hiding, man. That's some cowardly shit, bro. Don't tell me you're a coward, Vlad.
No callback from Vlad. Nah. So I'm starting to feel like this dude wants to slander me. And I don't know why. He's got the large platform.
Yeah, he's got a large platform, but at the end of the day, Alex, I'm talking about real gonna recognize real. No matter how big his platform is, for anybody who that follow or know Alex Alonso on Street TV, they know what you're about, dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I have a flawless track record when it comes to any work or any stuff I've ever put on the internet or posted that goes back to the 1990s. This goes back to before some of these people were even born that are checking this out right now. I have consulted on over 600 criminal court cases. I have testified in over 100.
So, Vlad probably fears this guy. This guy seems like he knows his shit. Seasoned, experienced, professional. And yet he only has 325,000 subscribers, while Vlad has about 5 or 6 million subscribers.
Something cases. I've been flown out throughout this country from every level of court, from civil, criminal, military court. I've been flown to military bases because they got trials too, no doubt. And my name is very good in all these spaces. And I think this is the first time in the history of my career that someone is saying that I'm lying.
And there you have it. We're going to end it on that note. We're going to end it right there, man. Every level of the game, man. Vlad is stepping on people's toes, man. Friends, associates, people he doesn't even know, such as FG, people he knows like Alex Alonso. At some point in time, man, you got to get the message, man. And you can't keep saying that everybody else is the problem. Everybody else is wrong. Everybody else is jumping to conclusions. Everybody else is looking at it the wrong way, my G. No, man, you got to look in the mirror, brother. You got to look at yourself, man, and say, yo, I might need to clean my act up a little bit. I might need to show a little humility, man. But this is what happens when you get, big and you're living high on the hog. You feel like, anything you do is blessed. You feel like you can do anything and it's going to have a stamp of approval. It's going to have a stamp of approval from those within your circle. You know what I'm saying? They're going to stamp you. They're going to say yes, yes, yes. Nobody's going to go against you. because you're the cash cow. You know what I'm saying? You turn the faucet off and on for the people around you. So nobody's going to really get you together. And then it's easy for you to deflect from those who are without on the outside of your circle to just dismiss everybody as being haters, man. It's not that you have a lot of haters, man. A lot of people watch your podcast, man. And if you look in the comments, a lot of the complaints are echoed throughout, the comment section. So you're not paying attention to the voice of the people. People are trying to say, hey, Vlad, we fuck with you, man. But this over here, man, this is a little out of bounds. This over here, man, this is a little out of pocket. Knock it off. A lot of people are coming to you in that way, in a non-offensive way. And you're still saying, you're still bucking the system. So if somebody bark on you, they're a hater. If somebody coming at you, I don't have to do it your way. I do it my way because it works. But it might not always work, man. All good things come to an end. So on that note, thanks to everybody for tuning in. We still got 7 rocking with me. Yeah. So went a little bit over 2 hours, almost 3 hours. Again, subscribe to the channel, smash like on this video, share this onto your social media. You can purchase a membership. You can hit me with a super thanks and also super chats. Subscribe to my other channel, Streets Gotta Eat. Again, we're trying to get my numbers up over there. But again, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. It's your man online, Bill Money. And I'm signing off.
Call me Rollin' or Spalding. While you ride the pine, I'm on the fast break, ballin'. I'm posted in the paint, getting buckets, scoring. Another metaphor for getting ducats. I'm like, fuck it. I used to be a have-not. I sowed seed, watered my plants, and reaped the cash crop. I'm so good, you never catch me in the bad spot. Pull up in a lemon 6-4 and make that ass drop. Cause me, all I ever wanted to do was fall. And your girl, all she ever wanted to do was call. And all I ever wanna do is hit the mall. Pull up in a U-Haul truck and buy it all. I be finger rolling dough, watch my paper float. While you putting up them bricks, I watch your paper choke. My big roll make it hot, watch my paper smoke. Boy, your money funny, I watch your paper choke.
Yes, all my life, we need to lie. That's all that all I ever wanted to do. Yes, all my life, we need to lie. That's all that all I ever wanted to do. Yes, all my life, we need to lie. That's all that all I ever wanted to do is ball. Living my life off the wall. All I ever wanted to do is ball.
I need you to rock with me. I'm throwing alley-oops with the dough. It's Lob City. Lil' mama shaking it fast, just pop swiftly. Give your boy a quickie, and I might drop a 50. Then I'm back on my grizzy, cause I ain't made a meal yet. Stunting on these niggas cause they ain't kept it real yet. About to change the game and I ain't signed the deal yet. Stomach touching my back like I ain't ate a meal yet. So y'all can keep stalling, I'ma keep ballin'. Just like the rain, watch the money keep falling. Groupies knocking on the door, I let them all in. Party don't stop till 6 in the morning. My money's real loud, watch my paper scream. My money walk like a pimp, watch my paper lean. My money lives, you can watch my paper breathe. And just like the fall, I watch your paper leave.
Yes, all my life, we need to lie. That's all that all I ever wanted to do. Yes, all my life, we need to lie. That's all that all I ever wanted to do. Yes, all my life, we need to lie. That's all that all I ever wanted to do is ball. Living my life off the wall. All I ever wanted to do is ball.
First thing I'ma do is buy the bar. Then put up a billboard so everybody knows who we are. Sounds good. See me shooting through the sky like a star. Whip so sick now chicks wanna fuck my car. My car. They know I'm seeing De Niro. I see stars in their eyes and they looking for a hero. No, but I can't put the cape on and I don't need a case, so we gon' keep the tape going. A groupie might wanna do me to sue me, cause I'm Ocean's 13. Money like Clooney. Me without a lot of Prada and movie Louis, like trying to watch Family Guy with no Stewie. No Stewie? Or watching Star Wars with no Chewie. No Chewie. Or catching Slick Rick with no jewelry. That's right. My date with destiny is all that matters. Gotta go, I'm late. Mad, I'ma be chillin' at the top. I see you when you get there. A lot of y'all are trying. I'm wondering, is it fair? Cause it's a rocky road to success. But I'ma occupy the road nonetheless. I'ma be chillin' at the top. I see you when you get there. A lot of y'all are trying. I'm wondering, is it fair? Cause it's a rocky road to success. But I'ma occupy the road nonetheless. I'm on the road to the riches. You can call me Cool G. Blowing on that ooh-wee. Head to toe Cool G. Everything is Gucci. Lobster and sushi. Bottles, models, paparazzi, groupies. We be all up in the pod just like two peas. Got twin pines, so I'm rolling 2 trees. I'm on a double date, call it 2 G's. Got the NFL money, Drew Brees. Police escort, straight to the airport. I'm about to get another stamp on my passport. I'm on a mile high, up by the mile high, in the Mile High Club. Yup, I'm a wild guy. I watch her climb high and do a pole drop. Mama's 1 in a million, she make my boat rock. Come on in and make sure the door's locked. I love getting to the money and it don't stop. I'ma be chillin' at the top. I see you when you get there. A lot of y'all are trying. I'm wondering, is it fair? Cause it's a rocky road to success. But I'ma occupy the road nonetheless. I'ma be chillin' at the top. I see you when you get there. A lot of y'all are trying. I'm wondering, is it fair? Cause it's a rocky road to success. But I'ma occupy the road nonetheless.
Different me, the same you. Things don't stay the same, things will change. Don't hate me, nigga, hate the game. The key to a man is trying to change. A different me, the same you. Things don't stay the same, things will change. Don't hate me, nigga, hate the game. The key to a man is trying to change. Oh, so-called friends, I don't need you. Some love me, some hate me, so I'm even. Hate all you want is fuck a bitch, I'm breathing. Better days not far away, I believe it. Looking in the mirror, staring at the man in it. Black shades tinted, her new vision. Staring at the world from a different angle. Positive attitude, but I'm still gangster. Grown man shit, I hope you catch the hint. Selling drugs don't make you a man, but it can make you rich. Toting your guts, wearing your heart, but you're only a bitch. Take time and think, damn, sizzle making sense. I'ma build a fence to keep old niggas from round me. Old G's taught me to walk softly. Keep your eyes open, young nigga, be cautious. Don't trust these slimy hoes, brush the dirt up off you. I brush the dirt up off me and kept walking. I keep my business to myself because the streets talking. I'm on my P's and Q's while you niggas sleepwalking. Keep sleepwalking. Black coffee.
Streets ain't just talking. Niggas is whispering. We're bait like a fisherman. Fair steady listening. They reeling in my niggas. Get them trapped, cap, they pillin' them. Fit the profile of your skin's tinted with melanin. My men's have been telling them. Niggas ain't listening. Take the pot you pissin' in. Niggas get the missing when they cuffin' up your wristin' in. Ship you off the prison in a hole like a pigeon in. Ain't nobody visiting. Living like some midgets in. Many men are feminine. Switching like some women in. Fuck if I'm offending them. No time to be PC. The game's getting greasy. Cause every time I look, they endangering my species. Man, I'm fighting like Creasy. Problem for the opposition. I mastered the art. I'm stomping out the competition. My name ain't Joe, but I got a proposition. If you game to go, the way that they can stop the mission.
different me, the same you. Things gon' stay the same, things will change. Don't hate me, nigga, hate the game. The key to a man is trying to change. A different me, the same you. Things gon' stay the same, things will change. Don't hate me, nigga, hate the game. The key to a man
Have you ever felt like you were just tired of all the games, the stress, the drama, the lies? You be wishing you can turn into a G4 and just fly away from all the nonsense.
thinking about a higher pay, looking for a brighter day. Makes me wanna fly away. Hoping I can find my way. Nothing more that I can say. I just wanna fly away. Fly away.
My life should be edited in Photoshop, pose for a pic, click, never miss a photo op, always in the limelight. Even if I fall back, stand on my own too. Even if I fall flat, if I have to crawl back, I'ma get my spot again. They can see me coming, be like, goddamn, not again. Build to the M.O., and you know my M.O. It's either the sour D's or the Caliendo. I'm holding the crown, king like Kente. When I drop the top on that GT Bentley. Listen to the haters talk, I don't care what them say, they blowing hot air. I'm mucho caliente, que pasa mi gente. Got those muchachos posted at the border with the cheese from my nachos. And I'm calling on my vatos, cause I'm about to bless the game like a snot nose.
Thinking about a higher pay, looking for a brighter day. Makes me wanna fly away. Yes. Hoping I can find my way. Nothing more than I can say. I just wanna fly away. Fly away.
It's a brand new year. Tell the industry it's a mob nigga here. Telling the industry it's a mob nigga here. I still share clips for my niggas that lost their life. Now I ride on chrome, neck full of ice, lap full of ammo, feeling like Rambo. Pocket full of decades, I can make your girl suck me up. I pulled up in Cadillac trucks, hopped out stunt and my squad big money. Better watch a chick, I can tell that she want me. I hit her the pass to my nigga Bill Money. Now I got Bill Money, thanks Bill Money.
Thinking about a higher pay, looking for a brighter day. Makes me wanna fly away. Yes. Hoping I can find my way. Nothing more than I can say. I just wanna fly away. Fly away.
Bill Money, 100 ENT in the building.
Nigga, I'm the shit.
Told y'all, nigga. Ain't a thing funny, cause I make money, and my niggas bank from me. I was stuck between crawling and falling, far from balling, so my squadron I called in. If you all in, then fall in, no stalling. Make this fast break like Rawlin' or Spalding. Crack the safe in the wall, the stash in the flooring. Now I'm buying them all in G4 soaring. Whips and chips are foreign, y'all boring. While you at work, your wife's whoring or falling. Tighter the pussy, the harder the nut. And the tighter the clip, the harder we stuck. Remember, if you pulling the pistol, I'm gripping the pump. And if you willing to die, I'm ready to dump. I'm on some X-File shit, moving textile shit. No expatriate, get on some exile shit. You want some next round shit? I'm a first round pick. Hold the chick, or she be getting some first round dick. It's more money to get, right? More hoes on my dick, so nigga, I'm the shit. Told y'all niggas. Ain't a thing funny, cause I make money, and my niggas bank from me. Still money. It's more money to get, right? More hoes on my dick, cause nigga, I'm the shit. Told y'all niggas. Ain't a thing funny, cause I make money, and my niggas bank from me. Mama pray for me. You know your boy thuggin', on the grind trying to make something out of nothing. I put a bun in the oven. You might think I'm bugging, cause only money I'm loving. Put that on my blood. First, second cousin. Then on the third shift, I had a whole strip buzzing. police cussing, whole team hustling. Get pussy what I want, cause hoes keep busting, hoes keep fussing, cause I never call back. You can't trust them, so I make them fall back. Cause hoes say this and hoes say that. They need to play like Pat and don't say Jack, cause I'm the shit. The best thing since crack rock. When I'm in the sack, you should see how the rack rock. I get it popping on the back block. They clamp down on your hood like a padlock. I'm mad high. It's more money to get, more hoes on my dick. Cause nigga, I'm the shit. Ain't a thing funny, cause I make money, and my niggas make for me. It's more money to get, more hoes on my dick. Cause nigga, I'm the shit. Ain't a thing funny, cause I make money, and my niggas bank for me. It's more money to get, more hoes on my dick. Cause nigga, I'm the shit. Ain't a thing funny, cause I make money, and my niggas bank for me. It's more money to get, more hoes on my dick. Cause nigga, I'm the shit. Ain't a thing funny, cause I make money, and my niggas bank for me. That's right. Them too. Told y'all niggas. Spill money. That's right. That too. Told y'all niggas. Spill money.